I took my younger sisters to school, and there's this one time she's telling me it's like, this girls didn't like this particular girl, so they all urinated in her water bottle. Girls' schools are mad, bro. They're mad, fam.
I developed a bias towards not taking my kids to boarding schools because of everybody who I've met who've gone to a boarding school, they never have anything positive to say.
Oh, yeah.
It's always negative, trauma, chaos, ushetani, usherati. Like
Just so odd things.
It's
yes.
just so many things, yeah. And when I think about the quality of life that I want my kids to have, I don't think they will get it in Kenyan boarding schools. At least those that follow the now CBC system.
Yeah.
Before it was the 844 system. Wadao. Just combining the energy that Corey had given in one of the episodes of just shouting at the beginning.
Oh, yeah.
Hi guys, welcome to the episode.
That was
Oh, you were like,
that
what
took me
was
by
that?
she was so she was
Utterly
relaxed
random.
and hi guys, welcome and calm down. Anyway, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, grandparents, parents, siblings, friends of more to follow, enemies as well. Do we have enemies? No, we don't have enemies. Friends of more to follow, full stop. Welcome back to this is episode what? 7?
8.
8.
Yeah.
8.
Tumesonga.
It's episode 8.
Allah.
Tamu sana. Welcome back to episode 8. No, welcome to episode 8. Welcome back to the More to Follow podcast. If you're new, kuna kiti ya wageni hapo katikati ya Kori na Owen. Naza karibu sana.
Thank you.
Moses Ateka.
Alafu umedrop hiyo kutoka juu.
Yes, I'll let my fellow podcasters introduce themselves.
Hi, I'm Corey.
Owen.
In absentia, I would like to recognize Konene. Konene, this is episode 8. They're asking for you. They're wondering where you've been. We miss you. Please do come back so that we also have more space. Another
And more
chair.
can follow.
And more can follow. Yeah. Exactly. And for me, today, I have a new moniker. This is Ajuran from the Sultanate of the Somali. And basically, this guy in the 13th century, the Sultanate was a kingdom on its own. It's the equivalent of a kingdom. I think it's the Islamic version. And these guys, they had canals that crisscrossed the Shabelle and Juba rivers. Mm-hmm. And the land was lush with crops, and they were a marvel of hydraulic engineering, like the land of the pharaohs before them. Not even the Omanis from the west or the Portuguese from the east could penetrate these guys.
Okay.
Yeah, so they had a vast Somali empire.
Okay.
Ajuran. Yeah.
Big man.
Anyway, now, for today's icebreaker, I'm going to give you guys some prompts and I want you guys to tell me the first thing that you think about.
Okay.
Cool?
Like
when you
a
hear the
pool
word Depa, what do you think?
High
deputy.
school.
Yeah.
Mtiaji.
Mtiaji.
Yeah, high school.
Disciplinarian.
Disciplinarian. Okay. DH?
Dirty.
Which schools did you go to, man?
Dirty.
Dirty.
I think the DH was some of the cleanest places in the schools.
Dirty is crazy.
What?
That school needs to be investigated.
Yeah.
No, the
Don't
thing
know
is,
kuangalia LinkedIn
we
yako.
were the ones who were doing the cleaning. So anytime we know DH, it's like there's work that needs to be done. It's clean for anyone else who's coming in, but we know the work that goes into it.
Oh.
I think the stickiness here, meza, they cooked, it's just a lot.
They cooked what?
No, siku tumepika na mafuta. Becomes greasy,
I'm picking na
oily.
mafuta kila siku.
Sasa kama ni ugali inapikwa na mafuta aje?
Si kwani mnakula ugali peke yake?
Yes. I'm joking. No. I don't know. It's just that. For me, it's that.
Okay.
Box.
Raphael can't relate. That's what I think.
No. What do you hear?
Box.
I'll insult you after we finish the episode. Because what I want to say...
But box that I think of grubs. So soda, juice, biscuits, that kind of stuff. You?
Theft.
You have such a...
Kama uko na box, it's so easy to steal from your nini. When walikuwa na box walikuwa naibiwa virahisi. Acha niseme hivyo.
So when walikuwa na box, nyinyi mlikuwa mna nini?
Kuna wenye walikuwa wabeba suitcase.
So dining hall ni chafu but unaenda shule na suitcase. Like
Nice.
make it make
There
sense.
is variance. We're not
Cube
all
mates.
the people.
I didn't have them, so I
Can't relate.
yeah. Was either sleeping in halls or like smaller. Okay, I did have a cube mate, but anyways, bruh, yeah. The boys, I guess.
Friendly. I had a good one.
Oh, you had a good one. Kuna sikia zile vitu zilifanyikanga in girls high schools wa... There were rumors. Ama you never experienced that?
I took my younger sisters
What
to
rumors did
school,
you hear?
and there's this one time she's telling me it's like, this girls didn't like this particular girl, so they all urinated in her water bottle. Girls' schools are mad, bro. They're mad, fam.
Enter.
DJ Afro.
All right.
Check ile amefanya. Kola huyo.
Call me Buddha.
No, we had yeah.
I don't have a. It was Enta. Enta was fun.
It was fun. Hot grabber.
Ooh, DJ lighter. We used to have this thing where we just take a seat and put the seat, hang it on like two what do you call it? Two of its legs, and wine on it. That's why we learned to the waist, man. Yeah. Hot grabber was just wine them when redeems are redeems.
I'm sorry, I can't relate.
Mi najua shule ulikuwa na nimeambiwa stories.
Na nashangaa
But-
kisa.
Si mlikuwa wale wa kwenda kwa wall mnaeka
Yes.
upside down
Yeah,
na
upside down.
mnatingizana. Unashika
When
skirt
you've
kama
asked me
umefanya.
what my
Au
nini,
ulikuwa
I can't relate.
watu wakifanya hizo
Nilikuwa
ulikuwa
CU.
wapi?
Kwa CU.
Sijui hot grabber.
I honestly don't.
Nilikuwa day school na najua hot grabber.
Indulge
You should
me.
be ashamed of
What
yourself.
is hot
Do you
grabber?
know
to
DJ
answer
Lighter?
that? I do.
Yeah, what was the
Mixes zake. Alikuwa na
mixes
hot
zake
grabber 1,
zilikuwa
2, 3 na 4.
hot
Okay. I didn't know.
Nimesikia nikisema DJ Lighter. Anyways.
Venye ile episode ingine hiyo jazz ilikuwa ya class 6, hii ilikuwa yangu ya form 1.
And clearly you can see why he's a keeper. He keeps things in his life.
Ni bicep ndio imekuwa kubwa.
Otherwise, there's a hood.
So shout out to his wife, his person.
Kazi kwake. Because ungekuwa umeshona kutoka form 1.
Hapana, utajuaje biceps imekuwa kubwa.
Tena nilienda kucheza ball nawe ikararuka.
Bicep alinua akapata yeah.
In a special episode tu pekee. Anyway, so for those who have not caught on by now, I know, but they'll probably see it in the thumbnail and in the
Yeah. But still there's some who need some
there's some who need some context, especially the ones on Spotify. This is just a bit of a throwback. We want to talk about high school and how it shaped us into who we are today. So I'll start with you, Corey.
Oh yeah.
What impact did high school have on your physical health? Actually, based on your lived experience and what you know now, first answer the question. Would you take your kids to a boarding school or a day school?
Start with the latter.
Yeah.
Boarding. For sure, boarding.
You'll take them to a boarding school, even with the dirt and the theft and the discipline.
It's
Okay.
part of society. Like, it's part of... the things I learned while I was in boarding that I don't think would have been different if I was in day school. Because you spend time with people and you get to see them a lot and you learn. And also, in terms of personal hygiene, there are things I don't think I was taught at home, but I saw with other people. And then even how to live. Because what I know is what I was taught, and I know what happens at home, but I don't know what happens in other people's lives or in other people's homes. So you get to school, nakuuliza, yani unaosha socks zako kando na mungo zako. I'm like, I didn't even think that's a thing. Si zote ni nguo tu, you just wash. Or when it comes to...
What? Sorry. What? Unaosha socks kando na nguo kando. I'm confused.
That was the situation.
Okay. Go on.
Like you wash your socks first and then you wash your clothes later. Your socks
They're
are all
clothes.
white. Yes. That was also my same reasoning, but nilipata mse mwingine anafanya something different. I was like, okay, to each their own, because that's how they know how to do things. The other question was...
What impact did it have on your
physical health? I used to play lawn tennis.
Oh, really? Well, the tight up skirts, eh?
Mlikuwa mmecheza na tracksuit na malongi.
There's no tight up skirts. The free.
That's the tennis skirts.
But I think
below the booty.
I grew much bigger in high school. I was smaller, much slender in primary school. And then with adolescence and puberty, na kula mkoro, na eat oplea, nini. You eat because you unakaa ukiambiwa that's the best part of your food. After a while unaanza kujiona unanenepa, unajiuliza mbona. In as much as I was in the field a lot, I was actually not a lot. In as much as I was playing, I'm doing my normal exercise per week, I just became bigger, and then it also contributed to me being a bit more self-conscious about how I look. But overall, I think that's the bit I got from high school.
Day boarding, I don't think I have a particular choice in mind. It's pegged on what school we've decided that they're going to go to and what they offer. Because you see, you find, like, say for example, take Turi, take Peponi, the boarding schools. So it's like a boarding kind of day. So it depends on what school you want and what system they're studying. So for that one, I don't think I can say whichever. High school on shaping my physical health. I can say that's the fittest I've been in my life. I loved it. It instilled the need to... Actually, every time I'm getting back to working out or getting into a routine and falling off and getting back, it's because I'm always chasing how I used to feel when I was moving around then. So it set the standard. It's the benchmark for how the peak for physical health for me looks like or feels like. It's not even just looking at... for someone to come and tell me, oh yeah, you look good, you look muscular. No, it's how I feel when I'm playing. There's nothing that matters more. Like I've been running for 60 minutes and I'm not gassed out. Like, yeah, let's go. So yeah, that's what it had on my physical health.
I think for me, I developed a bias towards not taking my kids to boarding schools because of everybody who I've met who've gone to a boarding school, they never have anything positive to say.
Oh yeah.
It's always negative, trauma, chaos, ushetani, usherati. Like
just so odd things.
It's just so many things, yeah. And when I think about the quality of life that I want my kids to have, I don't think they will get it in Kenyan boarding schools. At least those that follow the now CBC system.
Yeah.
Before was the 844 system. I think it's a case of there's too many people in the schools. The populations are too large. Like when you look at a school like Precious Blood, they had a very limited intake and for a very specific reason. You want these girls to be this number because access to resources, cleaning up after them, exercising, all these things, molding the person as well, shaping their beliefs. Then it becomes easier when you have that one-on-one touch, as opposed to when you have just a multitude of people.
Yeah, and
because very many people get lost within the cracks within the system. But there's instances where you have schools that, with a bit more resources, then that care and connection is given. Yeah. And there's a lot more involvement even with the parents, and not from an arm's length perspective, but on a one-on-one perspective. I have a friend who they all went to Turi.
Oh yeah.
Crazy.
Oh, yeah.
And it was such a big thing for them that their brother became the head boy in his last year, the last born. And it was also a big thing for the school because they were like, this so-and-so family, like all the boys came, none of them were able to be head boy, and look at this guy, he's done better than this other guy. So that sort of connection, community that you create in such an environment becomes very important, and the values that shape these kids. I had the privilege of going to a day school where that one-on-one care was provided on a daily basis, and that's something that also helped my relationship with my parents. So looking from that perspective, yes, you learn to live with other people, but you can do that in your adulthood. In this moment, when you're walking through adolescence, I don't want 4 years later, the person who got into Form 1 and the person who's leaving Form 4, okay, then it'll be grade 12, is a stranger.
Yeah, you could.
Yeah, we don't even know each other. We're
Yeah.
not recognizable, and we have to form a friendship much later on. So, but I guess that's also a preference. I think what matters to you, the value system that you have also infers that decision that you make.
True.
Because I mean, those ones with a bit more resources, it's helicopter.
Yeah.
You land, you come back on a weekly basis, maybe twice in a week or something, and it works. So there's that. There's that. And then in terms of physical health, like you said, I was the fittest, bro. Like, it was so crazy. Used to run 5Ks in about 19 minutes. So, like, when you think about people right now saying, hey, 5K 90 minutes, and I look back and I was like, that was just another day.
That was an average day.
It was an average day. Played football, played basketball, played rugby, played volleyball, and the school pushed us to do these things, actually.
Yeah.
Pushed us to do swimming, pushed us to do athletics.
That's the thing I like about the school you went to.
Yeah, like the execution, the idea, and then also, again, with this friend advice that we talk about, there's one thing that he mentions. He says that you know a man based on how he plays his sports, how he responds to adversity, how he responds also to triumph. You know, do you slack off or do you up the tempo? Do you make it more difficult for the other person and stuff like that? How you also consider the other person, you know, like in terms of sportsmanship, you know, we are sprinting, the both of us, to get the ball. You get a hamstring injury in the middle of it all. Do I take the ball, go and score, or do I just kick it out because it's more important for me to take care of you in this moment? And that sort of empathy is what you carry out consistently across board. It's what a gentleman called Paul Odera tried to instill in the Kenya Simbas, which is the 15s, the 15s rugby team that represents us. Just that culture of you're better men for a better society and stuff like that. And I think all that stems from high school, at least from my experience. So yeah, that's how it impacted you look like you have questions. Okay. How did it impact your spiritual health?
I think I can go first. You know, when people are looking at the term impact, they always think it must be very different. For me, it continued, because if I look at, I was raised Catholic. If I look at how it is that I have been when it comes to my spirituality, I had a huge chunk of it in primary. It was the same in high school. Like, it just kept the tempo. It just continued it continued giving me that set of guidance. And the same way with my friendships, the same way you'll be like, let's go for mass, or let's do this, you know, let's do the Exodus, even though that some I'm just like, I'm not ready for this one, and I don't feel like that one always just had me keep the time, because I think then I was like YCS vice chair, so it just continued what it is that I had carried.
Okay.
I'd carried.
CU, YCS vice chair. You know, all those people who ask, where did the CU chair lady go? Where did the YCS chairperson go? Ndio hawa. Wako kwa podcast but
I was a member. I was a
okay.
member of
Okay.
CU.
That sounded so calm. I was a member.
I was a member.
So yes, what did it do for you spiritual health?
I am struggling with this question. I don't think it did much. Not as much, to be honest.
There's no impact.
If there is, I don't remember, but
First.
not anything I can point out.
Did
no.
it strengthen? Did it weaken? Did it just continue like he said?
It just continued.
It just continued.
Yes.
Okay.
It just continued. I don't think there's any. I wouldn't want to say there's no impact. I don't remember.
I'm guessing it'd be the same for you as well. Because
Oh no, for me it strengthened.
wait, weren't you in the same primary in high school?
Yeah.
Also, it allowed for you because you were growing. It allowed for you to.
There's a subject we were taught in Form 3 that I used to get mad at because I understood nothing. It was called ethics.
You did that in Form 3.
In Form 3.
Yeah, now you'll understand what school he went. You see, that's what he's talking about.
Yeah, we did ethics in Form 3.
Yeah, but then your school.
Actually, we never did
I
theory.
did it in uni.
We did religion in Form 1 and Form 2, and then we did ethics in Form 3. And
Yeah.
then Form 4, you've been taught enough. And one thing that these people kept on instilling in us is, don't do this to finish an exam or to pass. Do this so that it shapes the man you are.
Yeah.
You were in
Like,
844?
that's-
Yeah, this is
Yeah.
844.
Okay.
Like, that's the success metric of whether or not you're passing this exam.
They always teach it.
Who are you outside? And you see it a lot, especially when you see discourse online. Like, you can tell, this guy, that sounds very familiar. Like, I can tell which school you went to in high school and stuff like that. As someone who had the experience before through the primary section, it helped because there's people who now came from public or other private institutions, and then it was such a rude awakening, and maybe they battled, and sometimes it wasn't the best match. But anyway, as is with life. So I think for me, it just, like, it strengthened strength to strength to strength, because I started asking myself, why do I believe in what it is that I believe in? Why do I practice the way I practice? And
you started questioning these things in high school?
17, crisis of faith, very serious one.
Okay.
Yeah, because there was an abundance of all these resources, and I'm asking myself, really?
I'm glad his was at 70. Mine was at 10 or 11. Yeah.
Your crisis of faith was at 10.
I was
Yeah, you
unaccountable.
just ask
So,
yourself-
Yeah, I was like, I just why?
Why are we doing all these things? Guess it comes from a point of abundance.
Yeah.
Pressure is a privilege.
Yeah,
That's what they keep
it
on
is
saying.
actually. Yeah.
Anyway, as we wrap up our episode today, it's very sweet. We can have another one. Hopefully, Konene, you'll be here. Anyway, when you look at the 16-year-old, the 17-year-old, you finished when you how old?
18.
17.
For me,
17. Oh, you are the year ahead of us.
Yes.
Oh, crazy. But we're age mates. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. Okay, when you look at the 15, 16, and 17-year-old, what's one thing you'll tell them now?
My 16, 15-year-old self. When you can start, as I think.
For me, I just look at them and smile. I've always been proud of the person I was up until I was 25. I appreciated being a child. I appreciated the value of life in its essence. I grew up as a child. So the only thing I'd add onto that is just take a day at a time.
I think mine would be not to take things as seriously. I was a bookworm to the T. I think Form 3, Form 4...
Look at you.
Form
Like
3,
you
Form
still-
2.
yeah, you're still a bookworm. As a matter of fact, clearly it helped you. Clearly it helped you.
Published author.
After she's published and received her success, she's like, yeah, don't take life too seriously. Yeah.
It would also be not to take... I spent a huge chunk of my primary high school was reading. My focus was mostly reading books. Ata kwenda doing... playing sport was a chance to get out of the monotony of reading, but a huge chunk of it was reading. My nose was in my books all the time. And it would be maybe talk to a lot more people, try engaging or socializing with people at the time. But I don't know. I don't think I would change much, but I'll just, I give myself a hug. I'm like, you'll be fine. don't take life too seriously. The goal was to be like number 1 in KCSE, finish and get a scholarship, which it didn't turn out, but it's also not the worst case scenario, which I thought was at the time.
Okay. I hope you guys can tell yourselves that right now. So I think the advice in one way, the more things change, the more they stay the same. So I think the advice applies individually. For me, I will tell that guy, achana na wasichana. My God. 100%. Yeah. I personally feel like if I had not engaged, because it's like having 7 spoons of sugar. That's what I'll equate it to.
But look at it this way. There's a certain experience and a modicum of self-being, success, and personalization it's given you right now that you're
No, for sure. No,
So-
this is what I'll tell them. Like I'm grateful that I went through that at that time. I feel like it was maybe too much.
Too much, yeah?
Because sometimes it came at the expense of sports, which is something that I really
Okay,
loved.
yeah, you were in a disco.
Exactly.
So that's fine.
Yeah. So it came at the expense of sports. It came at the expense of consistency with my choir, like being in the choir and singing and stuff like that. So I would make that trade-off a bit better. But yeah.
Interesting. This has been quite engaging.
Yeah.
So, see you next week. Like, subscribe, share.
Next week, kweli.
Hopefully,
Yes,
yeah.
hopefully.
So,
But yet again, I'm seeing a bunch of mixed reactions on the live show. So keep tuning in, keep chiming.
Ndio tuambie dates.
Ndo tu sasa tuamue
I think hata
ghafla benvu.
wale wasi wamenipea feedback ya yes ndio watakuja ni sawa.
Ndo tufanye kwa sako na bako.
Sako na bako. Na sijui kama umeona si mimi na Kori tuna match leo.
Bana.
Coincidental.
Kwa nani rudi bwana, naumia huku.
More to follow guys.
Ciao.